Alright everyone, Cowboy Trades here, welcome back to the channel for a quick update on Kadena. So Kadena is up 16% today and we are having a huge bounce from one of these monumental levels of support on the volume profiles. In the lower time frames we are tearing through resistance, and in the lower time frames we are leaning short-term bullish. So has this changed my outlook on Kadena? Am I short-term bullish? What are my price targets? Let's dive into all of this and more. So first of all, if we're coming over to the macro charts before we dive into the lower time frames, as we've been detailing on the channel and as we talked about in our last video, Kadena came down to a monumental level of support at 50 cent. We obviously needed to hold this 50 cent region because to the downside there is no support built out until about 32 cent, and as you can see we have bounced from this 50 cent region and we are having a strong impulse all the way back up to the top of the volume profiles here at 69 cent. Now if we come over to our next macro chart, you may remember we've been talking about how on average when we do come down to the downside of the stochastic RSI, we typically have about 42 days worth of pain, and as you can see from our chart that we drew out 42 days ago, this is the week that is commencing the bounce. Now we were originally talking about in our previous video how I would need to see the stochastic RSI on the weekly time frame take a turn to the upside before I can pivot my bearish outlook into a short-term bullish outlook, and this is what we're seeing today. Today we've had a massive impulse from this 50 cent region, and as you can see stochastic RSI is just starting to turn up. So yes, in the lower time frames I am leaning short-term bullish now. Now one thing I do want to highlight, yes we are up 16% today, that is a nice pump on Kadena, especially if you did get down on 50 cent, but what I want to highlight is the stochastic RSI bounces, especially when the stock bottoms out at 0, they don't normally top out at 17%. If we look over here, we saw the first 42 days worth of pain. After we had a bounce, we went up 131%. Over here, we had 56 days worth of pain. When the stock bounced, we saw a rally of 79%. After we had 42 days worth of pain over here, you saw the stochastic RSI run all the way up to 100, and we saw about a 80 to 81% rally. As of the time of recording this, like we said, we went all the way down to 50 cent, and we bottomed, and we are pushing up right now. We have seen a rally from the lows of 47%. So at least on average, it's looking like potentially we've got a little bit more room to move to the upside. Now you can see in prior bounces, a conservative outlook for this is round about an 80% pump, which could potentially mean Kadena could move up to 90 cent. But I don't want to just look at the averages of previous pumps and say, you know, this is the new outlook, this is how much we're going to pump up. I want to dive into some other charts and talk about specifically what price targets I'm eyeing up right now and where we could potentially make the next trade from a position of strength. So let's come over to the next macro chart. Veterans of the channel will also remember this. What we've highlighted is since Kadena topped out at its bull market top around about $28, we broke down, made new bear market lows, and every single time we have a very clear trend. We make an M pattern, we break beneath the lows and make new lows. We make an M pattern, we break beneath the lows and make new lows. We make an M pattern, we break beneath the lows and make new lows. Over here you can see a little bit ugly, but we made an M pattern, broke beneath the lows, and as you can see we came down to the volume profile at 50 cent, and it's looking like this is a local bottom for Kadena. Now one other thing that I do want to highlight is this. Let's come over and look at what's happened. So technically you can see the bull market top was right over here for Kadena, and when you broke into the bear market you made bear market lows right here at $14. Let me change the color of this. Over on the daily time frame you can see once this was the low, we bounced up, we broke back down, and we reverted into this low and flipped it as resistance. Let me get rid of this because I really just want to focus on the weekly time frame lows. We made a low here, we broke beneath it. Once we made and found the new bear market lows, we bounced back up and retested the previous bear market lows as resistance before breaking back down and making new lows. Over here you can see we broke beneath the bear market lows on the weekly time frame, and in the next week we bounced back up and retested the previous lows as resistance before breaking back down further. Over here we established new bear market lows. What did we do? Once we broke down over here and made new bear market lows, we bounced back up and retested the previous bear market lows before breaking back down lower. You can see we actually retested this quite a few times before heading back down lower and making new bear market lows. Over here you can see we've broken beneath the bear market lows, we've found new bear market lows, and we're getting a strong impulse. And in my opinion, the price targets that I'm eyeing up right now, around about 79 potentially as high, at least on this chart, we'll talk about different price targets in a second, up to these candle body closes at 84 cents. So in the immediate short term, from where we are right now, it is possible Kadena could move up a further 20 to 27% in the immediate short term. Now, just because we can move up a little bit further, does that mean you should be chasing this pump at this moment in time? Well, no, in my opinion, especially if you've kept up to date with the channel and you've been trading with us on the lower time frames. We've been making these swing shorts whenever we come up into strong areas of resistance. We've been trading positions of strength and shorting. Quite recently, we shorted all the way up at 112 down to 69, and we made a 3x return from that point where we hit our take profit at 69 cent. We went all the way down to 50 cent, and in the previous video we made yesterday, we told you we are sitting on the sidelines and we're getting ready to play both sides of the markets. There were two scenarios. Scenario number one, we break down to 32 cent and we DCA and watch the price go to the upside from then. Scenario number two, we watch 50 cent flip as support, we bounce to the upside, and we look for that next position of strength to trade from. So it looks like that second scenario is playing out. We have flipped 50 cent as support, and like I said, in the immediate short term, things undoubtedly lie in the favor of the bulls. If we come over to the 4-hour time frame, you can see this. We haven't had a flip on the 4-hour EMA ribbon since the price was round about all the way up here at $1. Since then, it flipped bearish at $1.02. We've been in a downtrend. We've been making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. In the immediate short term, you can see over here, we've been making bear flags. We broke to the downside. We've been making bear flags. We broke to the downside. We've been making bear flags. We broke to the downside. We've been making bear flags. We broke to the downside. This was an SFP swing failure pattern. We quickly reversed back up to the upside. We made a W formation, and if you managed to get in on this, congratulations. I was personally away from the channel, so nonetheless, like I said, I'm not interested in chasing these pumps. I don't recommend chasing these pumps. If you manage to DCA at 50 cent, congratulations. We're on the sidelines waiting for that next reversion to the mean. So in the lower time frames, clearly, as you can see with this big pump to the upside, the trend of lower lows and lower highs has been invalidated. And like we said in the higher time frames as well, things do lean short-term bullish. So like we said, we're playing scenario 2 right now. We previously made a 3x on our last trade. We're now waiting for a new trade to present itself from a position of strength. If we come over to one of our final charts for Kadena, I want to highlight where that position of strength could be from. So let's come over and load up the oscillators. Like we said, where is the stochastic RSI? Right down here. On the weekly time frame, we're turning up. In my opinion, we're probably in a situation like this where for the next couple of weeks or so, maybe the next month, potentially Kadena could be a market outlier from the rest of the altcoins. In fact, if we're looking at the altcoins, a lot of the altcoins aren't doing too much today. And still, like, if you have been watching my channel, I've been detailing the Bitcoin dominance. The Bitcoin dominance is on a tear to the upside. And also, if we look at the total altcoin market, the total altcoin market is still beneath some very significant levels of resistance. So in general, for most altcoins, I do lean bearish. But for Kadena, this is being a little bit of a market outlier right now, having a monumental bounce to the upside. So on the weekly time frame, the stochastic RSI is telling me we've got a little bit more room to move to the upside. On the daily time frame, we are coming into a critical area of resistance right now. So what I want to tell you is this. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't give you an exact date on when Kadena will be coming up to these price targets, but what I can let you know is these are my price targets of interest. If we do come up to these price targets, I potentially may come out with a new video letting you know this is the new short, this is what I'm looking at to trade from a position of strength. On the weekly time frame, you can see this is exactly where we entered our previous trade. This was a reversion to the mean. If we get rid of the EMA ribbons and load up the bull market support bands, you can see we reverted up to the top of the bull market support bands at $1.13. If we load up the EMA ribbons and get rid of the bull market support bands, this was a weekly reversion to the mean on the weekly EMA ribbons. This is why we entered our trade all the way back up here at 112 and shorted all the way down to 69 cents. And if you have been keeping up with the channel, we've been looking at a lot of these moving averages, EMA ribbon reversions to the mean, and this is kind of how we've been trading Kadena for the past 6 to 12 months or so, and it's worked out. So this is what I'm looking at right now. Like we said, with one of these macro charts, we seem to have a pretty clear indicator that every single time we break down and make new bear market lows, we come back up and retest the previous bear market lows as resistance before breaking back down to the downside. So what I do want to highlight is, in the macro time frame, has anything changed? Is this the start of a new bull run for KDA? Absolutely not. I mean, look at the weekly time frame, and this is on a logarithmic chart as well. If we come over and take things out of the logarithmic growth curve scale, you can still see, a lot of people are celebrating people who have been telling you to DCA at, $25, $20, $15, $10, and now we're having a tiny bounce down here. People are pretending, that the bears were wrong all along and that their DCAs are not, 100% under the water. The matter of the fact is nothing has changed in the macro. This is just, once again, like we've been detailing, another short-term ebb and flow to the upside before potentially that next move back down to the downside. So what I do want to highlight is, once again, things are looking short-term bullish. That is undeniable. In the higher time frames, absolutely nothing has changed. I still perceive that we're going to see this pretty linear downtrend to the downside for the next couple of weeks. Also, if we do come over to the monthly time frame, you can basically see we're still in a monumental bleed out on the Heikanashis. If we come over to the regular Japanese candlesticks, you can still see we are still in the red right now. We are having a strong impulse to the upside. But like I said, what are my specific price targets on what I'm potentially looking to lean up a short from? Well, if we come back up to the previous bear market lows, this is coming in at round about 79 cent up to as high as round about 83 cent. If we extrapolate the short-term moving average on the weekly EMA ribbons and also the bull market support bands, because the bull market support bands also very well track the short-term moving average on the weekly EMA ribbons, you could potentially see a strong area of confluence coming in the next week or two, if we get continuation, up to about 83 cent. That would be a beautiful retest of the previous bear market lows flipped as resistance. And if we come back to how this has previously acted, if you've previously witnessed Kadena break down into new bear market lows and you've watched it pump back up to the previous bear market lows and you've managed to enter a short from the previous bear market lows, every single time you would have made amazing gains to the downside if you are shorting. So this is what I'm looking at right now, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, in the short term, things are looking bullish. In the higher time frames, nothing's changed, and we're looking to play this as a short-term reversion to the mean. Also, in terms of has anything changed in terms of my DCA plan? No. What I'm looking at, once again, is scenario 2. We held 50 cent as support. We're pushing back up to the upside. We're looking for that next trade from a position of strength up at potentially 83 to 84 cent. And like we said, if we pull out these EMA ribbons, if we tear up in the next week or so, we could push as high as 85 to 90 cent. It is a possibility, so I will be keeping you up to date on the channel. From where we are right now, this could even mean another 36% pump from 65 cent, which we are currently at this moment in time. So once again, I'm on the sidelines. I'm not chasing the pump. We've made profit on our most recent short. We're not going to be giving that up by chasing into a short-term rally and losing all of our gains. In terms of has the DCA plan changed? Absolutely not. You can see we've bounced from our volume profile. Potentially, if you do want continuation, we do need to clear 69 cent. If we don't manage to clear 69 cent, which is the top of this volume profile, which by the way, on the daily time frame, we have already kind of got stopped out around about this 69 cent region. I'm not saying we can't climb higher than 69 cent. Like I said, it's potential we go up as high as 85 or 90 cent. It is a possibility, but if you want to get continuation, we need to get above this volume profile here at 69 cent. And what do you know? Where does the next volume profile cluster top out at? All the way up here at 88 cents. So there's a lot of confluence around about 90 cent, 88 cent, 87 cent, and 85 cent. There's a lot of potential reversions to the mean where if Kadena climbs up a little bit higher, we could get an absolutely beautiful short, potentially another 10x leverage short, targeting, another 3x return, round about these levels. Once again, turn notifications on for the channel. We will keep you up to date in this. In terms of has anything changed in the macro? No. Kadena BTC is absolutely still bleeding out. We've had a beautiful pump today, but yesterday we made new bear market lows. It's very easy to get carried away with these lower time frame bounces. Every single time we see these bounces in Kadena, I see a lot of people act like the bear market lows are in general. In the higher time frames, absolutely nothing has changed. This is just a very short-term bounce. And like I said, this can proceed to get continuation. In the lower time frames, we are tearing through resistance. And in the immediate short term, I am hoping Kadena pushes up a little bit higher to round about 89 to 90 cent. And if we do push up that high, that is where I will be looking at my next trade. And once again, has anything changed from the DCA plan? No, I am still also hoping that in the higher time frames, Kadena comes back down to this next volume profile, round about about 32 cents, and nothing's written in stone right now. If we do come back down here, it's very, very likely that I will look at my first DCAs for Kadena. Remember, we have been sitting on the sidelines for Kadena. We started covering this on the week that it broke to the downside of this bear flag. We were covering it round about $7, and we've been sitting on the sidelines and shorting ever since from round about $7. Even after this pump today, we're still down 90%. So we're sitting on the sidelines. We're not rushing into DCA. A lot of people have been DCAing every single drop. If you've been DCAing since I've started to cover Kadena, it's still down 90% even after this pump. So patience will continue to play off. We're sitting on the sidelines waiting for that next trade. Once again, like we said, we quite recently made profit on our short, so we're very happy to play both sides of the market right now. If the markets pump higher, that's beautiful. We're on the sidelines. We can make a new trade from a position of strength. If the markets break to the downside, that's also beautiful because we haven't rushed into any DCAs and we can get better price targets to DCA. So either way, if we go up or down, at this point, we are winning. I'll let you know how things play out. Once again, I'm in no trades. I'm not chasing these markets. I'm going to let the markets come to exactly where I want to trade them. If it pumps high, I will let it come up to my trade and enter from a position of strength. If it breaks down lower, it will come down to my DCAs exactly where I want to buy. Don't chase these markets. Have two different scenarios played out. Make sure you're trading from a position of strength and you're not chasing what the market does, and you'll do just fine in these markets. So for today, my friends, that is all I've got for Kadena. As always, I'll keep you up to date in the immediate short term. I do think it's likely we come back up to the previous bear market lows and potentially get topped out between 79 to 95 cents. That's a pretty big range, so we'll have to keep our eyes on the oscillators and the strength in the market. But with the next couple of updates, you'll know when I'm potentially looking to make that next trade on Kadena. So for today, my friends, that's all I've got. If you do enjoy the content, make sure to let me know down below by leaving a like and a comment. Share the videos with your friends. If you want to further support the channel, feel free to click the join button and become a member today. Follow me over on Twitter at 618_cowboy. It's been your boy Cowboy Trades. I'm out. Peace.